Hey everybody, it's Lance. Today I'm going to do a brisket on the Weber kettle. And the brisket I'm going to do is just the flat part of the brisket. It's just under 7 pounds, and we'll go inside in a minute and I'll show you how we're going to kind of season that up and cook that up for you. But I wanted to start out by showing you the grill method that I'm going to use. So this is called the snake method of cooking with charcoal in the Weber kettle when you're going to do a long smoke. And what I'll do is I'm going to light these here first, let them get real nice and hot, and that'll probably take a good 30 or 40 minutes or so. And then I'll start those up over here, and then as the day goes on, it'll wrap all around and keep the heat going all day long. Now the charcoal that I'm using is a Humphreys 100% hardwood. Now generally I am a big fan of the Kingsford and some of the other charcoals like that. But if I'm going to do a 10-hour cook or so, you really need to get the hardwood stuff because it'll burn slower and last all day. And I've got about 75 coals in here in total. And with those 75 coals, I should be able to get all 10, maybe even 11 or 12 hours out of it. Now the wood that I have on here is a white oak, and these are chef wood chips. I'll show you those when we get back inside as well. And what these will do is just give a nice wood oak flavor to the brisket as well. I tend to stay away from some of the sweeter woods when I'm doing the brisket. The oak gives it a real nice flavor just along with the natural charcoal that's in there. So we'll head on inside and I'll show you what I'm going to do to the brisket. Okay, so we're obviously back inside now, and I want to show you the brisket that I'm going to use and some of the other tools of the trade. I'll start with the wood that we had out there. It's the chef wood white oak. It actually came from a tree in a buddy's backyard who took that out and sold it to the chef wood guys, so pretty happy with that stuff. I know where it came from, naturally sourced and all. The meat came from, it's a good Costco cut of about a 7-pound brisket flat, and what I'll do with that is just trim off some of the fat back here, and then the seasonings I'm going to use are really just salt and pepper, and then some of this seasoning salt. Another tool of the trade are these Therm King thermometers, where you've got a couple of probes. One will go in the meat, one will go on the grill. And when you're doing a brisket, you want to keep the temperature right around 250, maybe a little bit below. And then when the meat hits the stall, which is right around 160 or so degrees, you want to try to heat it up a little bit more to push it through that. Now, some people are going to tell you to wrap the meat and get it through the stall that way. I'm kind of a bigger fan of just kind of let it get through naturally. And what I found is that'll put a better bark on the brisket, which is where you get a lot of the real good flavor. So we will take a little break. I'll trim it up, and then we'll show you what it looks like and how I'm going to let it sit there for a little while before I put it on the grill. Thanks. Okay, so we got it trimmed up a little bit, and you want to leave some fat on there, and when we put it on the grill, we're going to cook it with the fat side down. And then what I do, generally the night before I'm going to cook it, I'll season this up a little bit. And I'm using a coarse setting, just regular sea salt. I've used a kosher salt before, and I really can't tell the difference between the kosher and the sea. So I'll go with just the regular sea salt on it. And I'll put a little bit of pepper and get that on there. And then I've got this other seasoning, which is just grilling and roasting seasoning mix. It's got salt and pepper and some other herbs in there. So we'll get some of those in there as well here. I can see some paprika coming out. And then what we'll do is get that flipped over, and we'll do the other side as well. You can see this is the side that's going to be cooked face up. Get some of this other seasoning on there. And then what I'll do overnight is let that sit in the fridge and let the seasoning kind of soak into the meat a little bit. A little salt, a little pepper. And that's about all there is to it. I'm going to wrap it up, and tomorrow morning we'll put it on the grill for the day. Hey everybody, it's Lance. So the internal temperature is up around 201, so I'm going to go ahead and pull it off the grill. We'll wrap it for probably an hour or two, let it continue to cook and then cool a little bit, and then we'll carve it up and see how it looks. So here's the big reveal, and that is a nice juicy brisket after about 5.5 hours on the grill. And again, I think the cook time was a little bit shorter than normal on a brisket because it was just the flat part and not all that thick of a flat. It was about not quite a 7-pound brisket. So I'll get that temperature probe out of there. And you can see the snake method worked great. I've got a few coals left here, but you know, pretty much cooked through. Time that counted those out at about the right there at 70 or so coals. And you can see how it stayed nice and juicy there with the brisket, and yet I still got a good bark on parts of it as well. So I'm looking forward to tasting this in a couple of hours. So let's get it inside and wrapped up. We'll see how it does. Okay, so we've got our finished product here. Again, a little more than 5 hours on the grill for something just under 7 pounds, and you see how easy that just stuck in there like that. That's a sign of a nice, tender and juicy, obviously, your brisket. So when you carve these up, you want to go against the grain, and sometimes with a flat it's a little hard to tell, but you can see it kind of running this way. So I'm going to cut it from the point end back this way and get that first chunk off there. Take a little piece there, and you can see how, again, how juicy that is, and you can see the kind of smoke rings up on it. So I think we had a real nice successful cook, and I'll put some more details and the steps we took up at the end of the video. And thanks for watching, and hope you learned something.